So Martin's on. Martin's up in Alaska and he's participating, but in our selections for representatives for the NCAI, we need to make sure that he has voting rights while he's up there. So, pardon? It's on the screen. Oh yeah, okay. So we need to be able to pass this resolution so he can take action while he's up there. It was just Ellie and I that had access before. Okay. So basically it would be myself, Ellie, and Martin would be able to fill voting responsibilities for the National Congress of American Indians. If there's not any questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve this so Martin can do our business. Motion by Mike, second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? No more discussion. All those in favor, show of hands. Ellie?
Ellie said she had to step away for a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay, motion passes. Ellie out of the room. One out of the room, vote. The other thing is we have some interviews coming up and we have the gaming commissioner position. We have credit committee positions. And we would take those interviews this Thursday, but because there's only one applicant for the gaming commissioner from the incumbent Brian Big Sam, I would just like to see if council just wants to entertain to reappoint him without having to do an interview. If that's the consensus of council, I would seek a motion to reappoint Brian Big Sam as a gaming commissioner. Motion by Jimmy, second by Bing. Any further discussion? If not, I will show of hands for those who support reappointing Brian Big Sam to the Gaming Commission.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to abstain. I had to step away for a moment.
Okay. Motion carries, one abstaining. Ellie. Let's see. I have one other item. I'm forgetting something. I know I am. No, I think that's it. Is that all I had, Jen? Gotta have ask my cat herder. Okay, I think what we could do is take a quick break. I'm sorry, real quick. Guys, some business to do. Yep. Okay, we'll kind of behind schedule. We'll come back into session after our break. And we have Greg. Morning, Greg.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of council. It's good to see you all today. I'm sharing my screen with you, which is a primer today on indexing of the water compact funds, and followed up by a resolution and a letter requesting the indexing amount from the second mandatory payment of the water compact funds, which were received in December of 2021. So Section 9 of the Montana Water Rights Protection Act provides for there to be indexing applied to each payment that we receive from the federal government. Indexing is a calculation that's made to increase future values, to plan for increases in costs that are associated with inflation. This PDF packet was emailed to you all this morning, and I encourage you to keep it as a reference point going forward. It's typical for governments to keep programs aligned with the rising cost for delivering services. That's why that was included. It was a very exciting a piece of the legislation that was added. In practice, you'll know that Social Security payments are typically indexed to the changes in the Consumer Price Index in order for retirees to have their income stay aligned with the rising costs of goods and services. In making the calculation, there's a measuring point, which is a time in the future that aligns with when the payment is received. There's a starting point or a baseline figure that all future payments are measured against. And the calculation is used by dividing A by B and then applying that calculation to the dollar amount. Here's a simple version of that calculation. If the measuring point is 1.127.364, and if the baseline or starting point was 100, we would divide those two numbers and come up with an indexing factor of 1.27364. And when applied to $1 million, you'd see that that has an additive effect to the amount of money that would be received given the indexing factor. In the Act, the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers in the West with a population between 50 and 1.5 million is derived or is specified in the Act, and it represents about 18% impact on the $90 million. The Producer Price Index, which is really a summary of costs associated with production, it's the cost of wholesale goods that go into manufacturing, represents only about 6% of that figure. And the Bureau of Reclamation Construction Cost Index and Composite Trend represents almost 76% of the factor when applied to the 90 million. And it's due to the fact that most of the work anticipated in the Act is associated with the type of construction of dams, pumping plants, power plants, et cetera, that are embedded inside of the water compact settlement. So in practice, B represents the December 27th starting date, which is when the Act was signed. And December 21 of 2021 is the date upon which we received the second distribution. And so I have a spreadsheet that I use, and I plug in these values and these numbers. And so below you'll see here where we received $90 million. The index applied to that raises those indexed amounts to over $100 million. We subtract the 90 that was received, and we're expecting the letter today will request from the federal government a increased amount of almost $12 million after applying those indexes to the dollar amount. If I scroll forward here, I've tried to illustrate that indexing in practice. And here the first 2 years show us we've already received the 4.4 million from year one's mandatory distribution. We're requesting the 11.9. And then I've created a hypothetical indexing increase of 5% per annum in years 3 through 10. And you'll see that the percentage of funds at the base is the constant 90 million, but the number above the blue is the anticipating indexing amount that we expect, just given a 5% increase factor over the next years 3 through 10. So in summary, the indexing will have an additive effect to the amount of money that the tribes received. It's intended to provide funding that keeps up with the increasing costs associated with inflation and the costs of doing the work associated with the water compact settlement. And today, I'm presenting a resolution and a letter requesting the second indexing amount be paid to the tribes. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Greg? Thoroughly explained. Thank you, Greg.
My pleasure. I'm taking you here to the resolution. This is seeking the request for the indexing deposit on the second distribution, and there's a subsequent letter that outlines the methodology and determines the amount. And the federal government, through our previous conversations, is in agreement with the dollar amount that we're requesting. Yes, ma'am. Which section, ma'am?
The letter. Second page of the letter.
Yes, ma'am. I've noticed a typographical error in the letter for Brian Mercier, and I've corrected that in the version that'll be presented to you for signature.
Any additional questions for Greg? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the request for the indexing deposit distribution from the second distribution of the mandatory funding from the Montana Water Rights Protection Act. You
I'll
know,
move.
motion by Carol. Second by Mike. Approve the resolution authorizing the request for the indexing deposit distribution from the second distribution of the mandatory funding from the Montana Water Rights Protection Act. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Next, we have the accompanying letter that clarifies the exact amounts. Is there any questions about the letter? Greg mentioned there was one correction that he's provided me with a refreshed letter, corrected letter. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the letter, accompanying letter. Motion by Bing. Approve the letter to Brian Mercier. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. I think Martin might have stepped away. Yeah, Martin was stepped away. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Greg, is every distribution indexed every year? Like the first one, is it re-indexed?
Every payment that is received creates a date that is measured back against the December 27th, 2020. So yes, sir, every dollar amount that's received, including the 1 billion that was received on the 18th, that will be indexed back to the December 27th date. They did give us a good faith estimate of what that would be in the 22,585,000. My calculations today would make the true up about an additional 150 on top of the 22 already received, given the current economic situation.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you all.
Anything else from us?
We're good, sir.
Okay, next we have John Wheeler. And the grant request. John, are you there?
Yes,
Good morning, John.
good morning. Yes, I'd like to get a resolution approved for tribal opioid response grant. It's a 2-year grant, 485,000 a year, so 970,000. It's going to help with Matt's program for patients from 62 patients to 80 patients during the 2-year grant. Also help with inmates in jail. Planning on doing assessments of 20 inmates per year. And also hire a MATS nurse.
Are there any questions for John? Or you're all kind of reading the summary of the grant request? Go ahead, Carol.
I haven't had a chance to read this and I apologize. I'm wondering what kind of treatment plan are they on when they're administered this naloxone? Or do they have to be on any kind of a path of wellness? Well, I guess they have to be if they're on it. So, but yeah, just curious if somebody's managing all of these people, and I'm sure they are, but I just have to ask the question. Thank you.
Yes, they are managing, and a lot of it, I think, goes through Bernadette.
Any other questions for John or this particular grant? It's a 2-year grant. Motion by Carol to approve the resolution supporting the tribal opioid response project for the tribal health department and Salish and Kootenai tribes.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Ellie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Thank you, John. You have anything?
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, Chairman and Councilman. I am here to bring back the fireworks bid for approval. We did receive 2 bids, one for the Ronan area that was to Ginger Drake. And our other one of their highest bid was located in Polson on 1914B to Brad Pluff. So we were just asking for approval for those bids.
Any questions? Seeing none, you need to take action one at a time or just both?
All of it, it can be done at once.
Okay. Motion by Jennifer to approve the high bids for the firework. What do you call them? Revocable
Yep,
permits?
yep, for the firework bidders, as long as all requirements for permitting are met.
Okay. For Ronan and Polson.
Yes.
Is there a second? Second by Len to approve the firework bids for Ronan and Polson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
All right, thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. That's correct, Jenny. Come on up. Stephen.
Kaskwak, Ichupen, Lamlam Schwul, Hudiat Schwa, who Chinas Lamti Hul, Esia Kach, Kastkul, Hutkan Padla, Chinas Lamti Hul, Hutka Idli Lemihumu, Hutka Peep Hot. Good morning. I'm here to update you on the MILP, but also kind of visit, just a quick visit about our language camp and ask for some change of duty. But I guess my first question is with the new COVID requirements that are being put back in place, does council feel like that'll affect our language camp? Should we move forward, or just, is there any thoughts from council on that?
Well, the previous direction was to follow the CDC guidelines,
Okay.
and that's what's standing. So it's the CDC protocols that are just being replicated as recommended from our tribal health.
Okay,
So my understanding is basically just, close quarters with the mask requirement.
okay,
Unless I'm misinterpreting it, doesn't really deny anything.
okay.
It's just one safety protocol that's put back.
So I think we're gonna have a meeting after I visited with you all, and then discuss kind of as a staff what we're thinking. So we're gonna meet this afternoon. I know we are getting 2 tents, and we're gonna set up 2 tents outside and try to keep people, less people from inside the building, and just kind of let our elders be in the building, especially if it's hot out. So that's kind of what we're looking at now. And then, of course, everybody will have to wear a mask that comes in. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now, but we will visit about it more. So for my change of duty, do you guys have that paper? We have Frank Stanger, Donald Stanger, Willie Stevens, Bob Woodcock, and Celia Pete. Frank and Donald are gonna help with drumming and singing. Willie Stevens is gonna present on a canoe. Bob Woodcock is gonna be hunting and doing dry meat. And Celia Pete is doing a youth station on children's sailor songs with her sister. And it would be a change of duty with, of course, with approval by their supervisors.
Motion by Len to approve the request for change of duty station for Frank Stanger, Donald Stanger, Willie Stevens, Bob Woodcock, and Silly Pete for the June 21st to June 24th language culture camp. Second by Jimmy. Any further questions? All those in favor? Show of hands. Unanimous. Thank you, Ellie. Unanimous.
Lamb lunch. The other thing, just if you want to if there's any questions, I gave a rough draft of our agenda in there. We did have to change, you guys made the new, the 20th is the
Holiday?
tribal holiday and the federal holiday, so we're probably just gonna go from Tuesday to Friday, which is fine. I'm not gonna complain over a holiday. So that's kind of our schedule, and you're all more than welcome to stop by, say hello, and eat lunch or breakfast or dinner with us.
I'm Lip Cheney. I'm glad you're moving stuff outside as much as you can. That you can't go wrong there. You know. The only thing I could maybe offer to you is just like last week and Tony Service, my wife's workplace had COVID going on, and so I had to wait till I could get a test before I could go down to the Longhouse and participate. But you may want to get some tests available for people just to make sure,
Yeah.
just to have them on hand for a group event like that, because it's a rapid test, it's immediate.
Okay.
If someone feeling sick, they could go home, they wouldn't expose anybody. It'd be a good idea.
Thank you.
It made me feel better going to the services, knowing that I was negative.
Not spreading it to no one.
Yeah, exactly. I
agree.
still wear a mask, but yeah.
Okay, love lunch. So if there's nothing on language camp, I just want to do a quick update or presentation with my MILP grant. So my grant's done. This is the last thing is to present to council. The big thing we did, well, one of the big things was these signs. And so you have that in front of you. These are just signs that people had talked about over the years that they would like. So we have potentially some new signs. The tough thing is none of these got approved by Otto Wynn. And so I really was hoping to sit with him and go through these, but I didn't get a chance. But I did go through it with the elders and they liked them. And so we'll probably print, some of these, and then maybe like the signs that go in front, those two top ones, we might go through them a little more. But the handicap, that'll probably go up. I think they want to take off that $100 fine on the bottom and just leave the parking, or maybe just permit required is what they're thinking. But you can kind of see all these if you can go down. There's no parking, there's no smoking. That top one's gonna go on the dry meat rack area. If you go down again, these signs, those two top would be when you're leaving the Longhouse area. One's leaving and one's coming in. And then that bottom one's a sign for people can put up in their offices or different departments, just basic language sign. And some of these, like the handicap, if someone else wanted to use that, they could put their own logo in there. We could potentially put bilingual on there, Kootenai and Salish, if the Kootenai Culture Committee wanted to work on some signs with us as well. So that was one project that we finished. Then right here, this next one, this was our biggest one, the one that we spent the most money on. And if you can click on that top link and it goes to an online version of this app. So we paid for our app, and I don't know if you've all seen our language app that you can put on a phone. Well, with this grant, we paid the company to make it online available. So it's just easier to access for everybody. Schools don't have to have certain tablets or anything. They can just get right on their computer and go to it. And we've got some pretty good feedback since we sent this to the schools and different people. Just a little easier to access, but some people still like the app. But the online version is pretty nice to have. So that was one of the big projects. Another one I'm not sure if you got it on there. our alphabet book. And we updated our alphabet book. It hadn't been done for quite a while. And Anton Sandoval did color pictures. I didn't send the whole book because it's a pretty big file, but he redid the artwork. And so it's gonna be updated. We haven't printed a bunch yet, so it's not out, but we have the PDF ready. And I'm gonna turn it into, all of this into the MILP, into the Historical Society. Oh yeah, there it is. So that's one page I sent. We did update some of a few things within the spellings and added some new words from the old one. But the main thing is we did the colored artwork. So it's kind of spruced up a little. And then the last project we did, so within our adult language curriculum. we
One
have
question, Cheney, how
Oh,
many,
yep,
how
there
many
you go.
art pieces did he do?
42, I think.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big project. Yeah,
Is that, are you sharing those art pieces with the wildlife program?
that's a good idea. I could visit with them for sure.
Okay.
And see if there's, and we're doing it actually, I just talked with Stephanie about, we have this new game we were working on with the National Bison Range. When it was still there, it was, it's called Who Am I? And it kind of gives a description of something. It's kind of a game, a card game, gives a description and then you got to guess. And on the back, it has the name of what that animal is. And then it has the Salish word, but also the English of what the animal is. She said she's been, with everything going on, she's been pretty busy, so we won't hit that till after July, but updating those pictures was something, right now they are real pictures, but if they have any use for anything that we have, definitely we'll share with them. But we are working on that game, so it'll be neat to see what kind of, if we do artwork or if we do real pictures.
But the artwork is yours.
Yeah,
You had him do-
yeah, it's under a tribal contract and
So one of the things just that I was looking for is other things we can honor people with or gift them with.
oh,
And so sometimes a beautiful artwork like this can be brought up into a poster size and framed and given to somebody.
yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
it'd be one of those things that, he does beautiful work. It's beautiful work.
Yeah, I'll sit with, or I'll visit with Steph and see if there's any potential things we could do with this artwork.
Okay. Not much.
And so that's the alphabet book got updated. And then the last project we did was, so in the last round of MILP, we created some flashcards for our curriculum, adult language curriculum. But it wasn't enough money to do the whole project. So this MILP, we were able to finish that project and get the whole set of cards done. And it's for the second stories book. So the fourth book in our curriculum. And so that's done and they turned out really nice. I didn't send a picture of that, but I did bring a box. There's actually 4 boxes in this set. There's 15 stories and it has flashcards for the vocab words and then flashcards for the story itself. And we did some printing. We printed a bunch of stuff that we have available at the Longhouse now that for next school year, we're gonna get out to the schools, some of this language materials. And that's everything that was for this past MILP grant.
Cool. Any questions on that? No. Nice work.
So that's all I got for you all today.
Fun lunch. Carol, do you have something? Oh, okay. All righty.
All right.
Thank you.
Love much,
Love
Pascal. Thank you. Have anything?
You guys. Yeah. Okay. you guys think about it? No. It would be, you know,
Or
gifts,
gifts, yeah.
you know. You want some other art? Old Trout, gifts, that story. We have a lot of artwork there that we had produced. It's beautiful stuff. Okay, Michelle,
Essex.
Esquix,
I have Lucy Charlo here with me today.
welcome.
Hello.
Okay, I gotta find me first. I don't see it. Okay, Zoom chat? I think that's it. Let's see. Yep, there we go. And you're on.
Hello, we're here requesting that we waive the 30-day waiver to hire Jamie Heavy Runner for the gift shop position. We started this way back in March. We advertised in Charcusta on Facebook. We all shared it, the post. There was 3 applicants. When it came down to the interviews, 2 didn't show. The one girl came, we interviewed her. We waited around hoping the other 2 would show up and they never did. So we hired the girl. April came, we didn't hear nothing. Pretty soon, you know, she was supposed to start 2 weeks before Memorial Day so I could get her trained and everything. Well, come to find out, there was a holdup with personnel and her. She wasn't kind of complying with personnel, what she was supposed to be doing. Their system went down for the background check or fingerprints, and it just kind of got messed up. So last week we found out that she did take another position. We don't know where. Marie reached out to her and she said, well, I told personnel that I found another job. Well, you know, we were supposed to be open last weekend. We are staff of 4 people. 2 are always sickly, like today it's just me and Marie. So Jamie has been constantly stopping by. You know, she's a member of the Blackfeet tribe, but she has worked at Fott's and their fabric store. I'm not sure what it's called, but you know, she's been coming in, you know, wanting to work for us. So we did, you know, hire her one weekend. She did work Wednesday through Saturday. Sunday, she did get sick. So we're kind of wanting to move forward and hire her. But we want to, you know, and she did pick up all the paperwork. Personnel told us what to do. So she picked all that up. But in order for her to start, we need to, I'm asking you to waive the 30-day thing. And in between that, she will get her fingerprints and background check.
Go ahead, Carol.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Carol to waive the 30-day or request, provide a 30-day waiver for the background check and drug testing requirement. Second by Bing.
Maybe if we could say go along with education and the people's, or the 3 chiefs recommendation.
Motion to go along with the recommendation from the three chiefs staff. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Lynn.
I support this, just knowing the fact that those girls over there, they work pretty hard and we're getting to that season, getting to the tourist season now, and things are starting to pick up. So thanks for coming in and get us a plan together to start moving forward.
Okay. All right.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous?
Okay, thank you, guys.
I just have one question for you.
Yeah.
Were you working with Shelley Grenier the whole time?
Yes, Shelley Grenier and then Cynthia Matt.
Okay.
We've been working with them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my next action item is approval for a 3-year contract for Brazelton Touchpoint Center of the Boston's Children's Hospital. The amounts are on my agenda request form, so 210,600 for year 1, and then it's a 3% cost of living increase for years 2 and 3. We have to scramble to meet SAMHSA's requirements for the rest of this first year. We have, as you probably all know, SAMHSA is data heavy grant funders. And so they will help us with our data plan, with our evaluation. They're also working, they will be working with the entire staff to make sure that we're asking the right questions. And so overall, this project is, my elevator speech is that we're saying that by strengthening our students' identity of who they are, that they will be healthy and resilient and well. And so we have to prove that with these guys' help through the data that we gather and then how we report that. And so Brazelton worked with Project Launch with the tribe before. Joelfrey Grant from here actually works for them full-time now. He moved to New York City and works for them remotely. And so I'm really excited to work with them, and they are the only firm that submitted a proposal to my RFP, which went out and closed on April 4th. And so I'm asking for a 3-year contract with them. It makes sense to have the same firm for the life of the grant instead of starting with somebody and then trying to figure something else out along the way.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I
Carol.
think ECS uses Brazelton too. And so how does a person access this, or is that a whole different question? I mean, I'll go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and authorize.
Access the data.
No to, well, yeah, I guess so. Children, how do children access these programs?
So in the grant, we partnered with Ronan, Polson, and Mission school districts. And then I hired teachers and paraprofessionals in each of those districts.
Oh,
And so
great.
we have actual classrooms on their campuses that are incorporating our ways of being into the school day.
Okay, so as a parent, I need to just ask and make sure
Well,
that he's
it's
in-
offered to all, and then whoever wants to participate
Okay.
can. So it's just like other classes that are offered at the middle school and high school. Those kids kind of get to pick their schedules, except for the required classes.
Okay,
So
not-
this is an option for them.
not for the littles then.
No,
Okay.
no. So I specifically wrote the grant to be middle school and high school faith
Okay,
focused.
sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Motion.
Go ahead, Len.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. So Michelle, I know SAMHSA grants are in 5-year cycles. Any reason why we're not doing 5 years with?
I wrote it for 5 years, but when they funded us, they said you're funded for 3 years. And then if you meet your goals and objectives in year 3, we will offer you years 4 and 5. So my proposal is for 5 years, they have it all lined out. We just have to prove what we're saying is going to happen, will happen, and then there'll be additional funding.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Michelle? Motion by Carol to approve the contract with Brazelton Touchpoints Center. Second by Len. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Lisa. All right, brought the big guns too. Get the leader and the worker. Go ahead.
Hello, council and chair. I'm here to update you. We tried to get a contractor for the Harley powwow to get some things done. And the one contractor that came gave us a price, which was high. And he wasn't able to do anything for us. Said he was busy at this time. He's got the old complex he's working on, and he's got the bus barn and some other things going on. So he said he wasn't able to get it done in time for the powwow. So I did a search for a different contractor. I tried to find any contractor that was looking for work. I went to WBC and got all the business cards I could find and at True Value, and I sent out emails and scope of work. I had to reduce it. And I had one return call, met him up there. He looked it over, got a hold of me 2 weeks later, said there was nothing there he could do for us. He was looking for concrete work. So we're at the point now to where the maintenance crew is getting together. We purchased stuff to do the bleachers, and we're gonna redo the concession stands, the handicap area at the dance pavilion, and the announcer stand at the dance pavilion. We're gonna resurface those and try to get everything we can done before the powwow. It's one of those issues that we just couldn't get it done in time.
Carol, then Bing.
Yeah, did you talk to Joe Munoz?
No.
I seen him in Walmart the other day, and he said a couple years back, he was given an opportunity to bid on a $1.4 million contract, and he did it, and he completed it, and he did well. It was on Facebook. And he is now a contractor, and he is looking for work. He's a tribal member. He worked at Property and Supply for 15 years.
Yeah,
And you might want to contact him. I have his information.
sure. I'll contact him.
Go ahead, Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It really upsets me about this work being done on the plow grounds. We had 3 damn years to get it done, and nothing was done at all. And what also makes me mad is I hear that maintenance says that they don't have the money to do it. And talking with our finance officer here, he says all they had to do is come and see him, and he'd talk to him, and then things would get off the ground here. But it's pretty upsetting to hear that we have people that goes up to the concession stands up there and looking at them and sees mold in the goddamn things and not being anything done on them. My brother said he was up there waiting on you guys to show up, and nobody showed up to even clean the mold out of the concession stands. It's pretty goddamn irritating, excuse my language, it's irritating to hear all this crap that's going on and nothing being done. And you come in here and say, well, we tried this and we tried that, put it on Facebook and everything else. No advertisements in the Charcusta for this job to be put out and get done. No advertisements at all.
No, I didn't go to the paper.
No, you never, but there should have been. I mean, this work, there's a lot of money here in this tied up in this work. And we're going through Facebook to get people to work on this crap. What we usually do is advertise and get people contractors to put in for these positions, these jobs. I mean, that's what we used to do it. When we worked for Tribal Health, that's what we did. And then turn around and here we're doing this, and we had damn near 3 years to get all this work done and not a damn thing been done. You know, you go up there, the only thing that looks good now is the lawn is, or the grass is mowed. Rest of it looks like a bunch of crap. And we're having thousands of people going to show up for this powwow, and we're bringing them into a place like this. You know, it's really, I'm really thankful for the people up at Elmo getting their work done. And here we are sitting here with our damn hands on our hands and not a damn thing getting done here. You know, it's really disgusting. I mean, it really bothers the hell out of me to hear all this from my brother and everybody else up there that goes up there thinking work's going to get done and nothing gets done. You know, those bleachers should have been done. Somebody falls through them damn things is going to maybe come back on these guys. They're not safe. Them bleachers aren't safe at all. You look up there where the elders up there, handicapped up there sits. That's a dangerous place. The benches are all down, falling over and whatnot. You know, that's not a simple repair. Simple. You know, and I know you got people over here that probably can go up there and turn a couple bolts, put a board back in. But nothing. Not a damn thing. You know, and it's really disheartening to hear that, oh, we don't have enough money to do this. 3 years you've had money. Well, 2 years we didn't use the money to do anything up there with. And nothing got done. Now, 2 weeks, oh, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. That's a bunch of crap. You know, it really upsets me to have to hear this every day. Every day I hear something from these guys and they tell me, well, I was down there all day waiting for somebody to show up and nobody showed up. Why? Why can't you give them a damn call and tell them, well, we're not coming down because such and such happened here. We don't have that. Nothing. They go up there and sit there all day long for nothing. You know, and I think Mr. Nice and you, Don, know about a hell of a lot better than that. You've had these jobs for a long time and you worked for different programs in these areas for a long time. And you can't do this job. You know, I talked to Lisa before. I told her, Lisa, why don't we just go out and get people that aren't on our Indian preference list and just get somebody out there to do it. There's people out there that want to work. All you got to do is go out there and get them, find them. But nothing has been advertised for these jobs at all, for these people to know that these jobs are there to be done. And like I say, it really upsets me to hear this. Every time we come in and get an update on there, there's no damn update on these. Nothing at all. Be nice to have somebody come in and say, oh, we got the stands done, we got pavilion done, we got this and that. And then nothing's done up there. Not a damn thing. And it really upsets me to hear what these guys got to go through. And you're having thousands of people coming in here in 2 weeks to see some bunch of crap like that. So what do you guys care? You're not going to be there more than likely. But we are. And all of us go out there, look around and look at a bunch of crap. People's got to go in and sit there and look at it. God damn, you got to get off your butts and get something done up there. And I mean, you got 2 weeks. I don't know how many bolts you can turn in 2 weeks, but you should be able to get a couple turned. It's sure disgusting. I mean, it's terrible. Now, I missed the last meeting you guys had with council. I was in the back room on another meeting. To hear the update, I heard it wasn't taught a damn thing about the update. And here we come in again, another update, same BS. But by God, it's something I think, but if somebody gets kicked in the butt right now, you've got 2 weeks. My brother said, I heard, told me that somebody told him, well, fire me. You can't get, you know, like what we're doing, fire me. So my brother, why don't you come in and tell council that? We might have fired him. But you know, it's a bunch of crap what's going on up there. And it's unbelievable what happened for 3 years and not a damn thing happened up there. Here we are, 2 weeks and nothing yet. You got people going in and looking at their stands and there's mold in them. Can't even. Brian Crawford come down and look at it. He wouldn't even let anybody in there to serve anything in those concession stands. I don't know. I don't know what kind of a report you want to give us here, but I don't think it's going to amount to crap.
Thank you, Bing. Any other comments from council? I guess, Lisa, what I would, yeah, it is, you know, when Bing puts it the way he has, it is very disappointing as far as, you know, Powell is just a few weeks away. I know that, you know, I can appreciate us hiring our own crews and going to get stuff done. So I guess what I would suggest is putting together a timetable, at least the remaining work days we have left before the powwow starts, on what you anticipate getting done each day on a daily basis. And then in these bigger projects, you have a timeline, project timeline, and you hit, you know, your benchmark items, you know, your mileposts and drop dead items for contracting. If not contracting, now you're gonna, you know, try to hire our own workforce to get it done. But you know, it is disappointing to know that, yeah, we just have a few weeks left, and we're at where we're at. So go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, you know, we did amazing things down at the Dixon Agency. Why don't we do a change of duty station for employees? I know a lot of people would volunteer. You could go in and clean those what are they called? Stands, paint them and get them ready to go, spray them down, get them ready to go. And people would be willing to go down and do that work if we could just get a list and get them going. So all the tools are there and everything that needs to be done. I mean, if you need to replace boards and stuff on bleachers, that kind of stuff can be done by volunteers if we just get moving.
That's a good suggestion. I know in the big anniversary event, we had all programs on deck to help, you know, spruce up the place and fix it. And we spent a week on it with tons of programs. I know I went and rebuilt a bunch of the vehicle bridges myself down there for that event when Lester Big Crane was the board chair at that time. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I get the same concern, Bigness. If there's a mold in those concessions, there isn't a lot of time to get them cleared. I remember back in the day, I worked with Barrett back for the past 20 years or so before. If there was any mold, we had a hard time. I mean, they would have shut them down and wouldn't be able to use them at all. So that's got to be cleaned up. And those bleachers really concern me too, because if they break with all them people up there, somebody's gonna get LCs. And those boards, some of those boards, they're old. You know, they're old. They need to be replaced, and we need to do that. If I've already told Lisa, if there's any broken metal parts, I'll run down there and weld them. We're just gonna mark them out. But we need to fix those boards because they'll break with a certain amount of weight on them. Thank you.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, the last time we were here and did the update, I did at that time say that I wanted to have everything advertised to make sure that even if we sent emails out to the local or surrounding area contractors to try to get this addressed and also to see what staff could do on hand. When I went down and met with everyone on Thursday, I too wasn't happy with seeing nothing had been done. I talked with Don at the time and said, what's your plan for next steps? And what we came up with was any staff that weren't doing any emergent work orders were to be assigned down there this week to begin cleaning out the concession stands, get them prepared so that they're ready for the concessions to be moved into this weekend. I also had said, I want you to buy all the supplies you need so that we can have, like Carol suggested, come in today and request a change of duty so that we can have any materials that we would need to do scraping of the stands, stain the stands, but I also needed his staff to go in and replace the boards because they have bought the boards for the stands that need replaced. And then to make sure that we get those announcer stands and the handicap stands addressed. So this week they are supposed to have staff down there off of maintenance that are not working on any emergency work orders, working on this. I talked to Don yesterday, or not Don, Ron, he said no one showed up. This is a priority to me. I'm not sure why we don't have staff showing up. Maybe Don can explain why no one is there. But I did have a timeline developed. I was hoping to have everything completed. We were going to ask for change of duty for next Tuesday, since Monday's a holiday. Have him make sure we have all the supplies we need, including the paint to paint the bathrooms. So I'll let him update on the status of those supplies as well. My anticipation was we would have it up and ready by the end of business Tuesday if we had enough people show up to help with the stands for change of duty.
Go ahead, Len.
So I'm kind of curious to know why your supervisor is not here with this discussion. Could you turn your mic on? Can you turn your mic on?
Sorry. Yeah, John was going to be here, but then he got a call that there was an issue with the lagoons out at Kicking Horse, so he headed out there to check that out.
Okay. Yeah, that just kind of concerns me, Don, because you follow orders from the top, you know, and it's just knowing that your supervisor did not take that initiative to figure out and be here and listen to this discussion, because he's the one that needed to hear this. Because he's been told time and time again from both powwow committees, over and over, he's been told all summer, and where we get no or little response from him. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
So I guess one question, Lisa, that I know that there's different maintenance folks and different programs, et cetera. And so some of them are not hardcore tribal funded, some are. So I guess if there was those folks that could help out, that could be ordered, not a change of duty station preference or something, that they would be redirected, change of, you know, force change of duty station when we're talking about tribal funded programs. If you could maybe look into that opportunity to guarantee that we would have people show up and people would be working.
My impression was by my directive that it was guaranteed that any staff that weren't working on an emergent work order would be on site. I had made it clear that this was precedence. There were some other projects that they were working on. I said they can wait a week or two. This needs to be done. We have at least 12 maintenance staff that are available, and we have the supplies, and it just needs to happen. And that we would only work on emergencies in the meantime.
But additive to that, you're talking about the maintenance program.
Yes, yes.
So what I'm talking about is other programs, say like the Wildland Recreation Program or some other entity within the tribes where there's people with that skill set that do maintenance, whether it's Head Start or wherever it might be, you know, the
Right.
Salish Culture
I can
Committee.
reach out to the other directors and see
Yeah.
if they can also assign some people. My only concern is I want to make sure that we have all the supplies available. I don't want them to show up and they have nothing to work with. That's why I'd like Dawn to update what the status is, to make sure that my understanding from our meeting Thursday was we have everything we need to replace the boards on the bleachers and then also to do the announcer stand and the handicap accessible. And then the other things are cleaning out the concession stands and the bathrooms, which you don't have to be a maintenance person or anything to do that. So we might be able to get some other people to come out this week and help with that. But we need to make sure that we have the supplies. Otherwise, they'll just be out there.
Right, yeah, Ron?
Yeah, I was told that they had the concession stand metal ready to go and that's what I've been waiting for them to come down and have that metal stand pieces were there to show me that they're gonna start it. And it's like I told my brother, I said, it's depressing. I mean, it just watch the pigeons, that's all we can do down there, and they're no help at all either, so that's all we can do is have the pigeons. And Benny McDonald, he's trying his best down there to keep that grass mowed, but it keeps coming back. And then after they stole the lawnmower, then I couldn't help them anymore because the lawnmower was gone. So, and he's been sick, so he hasn't been have a chance to mow. I said, well, I told Ben, I said, maybe you have to call housing, maybe they'll come down and help you mow that lawn and stuff, because they did that over at the Head Start in that area about 2 weeks ago. They were all out there doing that, and I told them, I said, you should call them and maybe they can help you mow it.
Yeah, I think it's a point in time where we're going to be asking all hands on deck, and indeed we want to, you know, going back and not having a powwow and going back this year. It's really an important thing. It's an important thing for us to gather. This is part of our being able to restore community, restore family, and see friends. It's part of our healthy, you know, moving forward. So I would assume that you'll reach out to everybody, and like when we worked on the big celebration, the 100-year celebration, it was incredible to see everybody come out. It was exactly like Ron said. You know, everybody goes out with their all these different programs with mowers, and they have all their stuff, and they come and help do it. It's people that are in that type of job classification, that have workman comp coverage, that could do that kind of stuff. It's real critical. Those people in those segments that we can redirect them, we need to redirect them. It's not necessarily we want to have someone that doesn't have the workman comp code or the insurance code that allows them to, you know, run a chainsaw. We don't want to do that. We want to get the appropriate people out there that know what they're doing. And we have lots of those in our workforce. We have a lot. So I think the times that we're in right now, we need to redefine and rethink outside the box, because I do have sympathy, you know, where you're trying to find somebody, there's nobody available. But, you know, sometimes we just have to reach farther. I think, as Bing mentioned, we have to reach as far as we can and exhaust everybody to get the job done. And if not, we're doing it ourselves. But that drop dead date probably should have been established a while ago, to where we're going to use contractors up to this point, and after that, we got to do it all ourselves. And you're at that date right now. We're doing it all ourselves, as I can tell. So I would really, you know, get your hand out there and plead and ask and those that you can redirect, there's no choice, do it. But if they have other funding sources that they're paying their wages with, then really it's a volunteerism on that different program. So, and they will help out. Housing will help out, and Wildland Rec will help out. There's other programs that will help out because, you know, it's a mutual thing. You know, it really is for us. So I think there's help. I think Carol brought it up. We're just gonna have to get everybody out there and get her done, like the effort you put together for the Dixon Agency cleanup. That's a classic example. I know we can get a lot of things done. We're gonna have powwow. And I hope it's a beautiful powwow. Weather's good. People come. Go ahead, Carol.
We had 100 people out there, including kids, and kids are willing to do it. I know a guy that was trying to do some pressure washing. I don't know if you need that, but I can give you his name.
There's no fire season going on. I know that. We'll get some work out of those guys.
Okay, the supplies, I talked with True Value, so he said, thanks for coming in early. He'll have everything available, set aside for us when I need to pick it up. I figured out how much stain. I went down yesterday and estimated how much stain for the bleachers and the picnic tables in both pavilions. And I measured out the bathroom showers that need to be painted. So I've got things lined up for when we're ready to, if we get a lot of help, that would be great. Yeah, we just need to get some help down there.
So I guess, Don, just one question. When Lisa says that, you know, the directive was that people are supposed to be there in the maintenance shop, what exactly, why didn't they show up?
I couldn't answer for everybody myself. I had senior citizens sinks to finish hooking up. There was Impulsion. We did new cabinets for them. I got down there as soon as I could, did what I could as measuring, and there was 5 toilets backed up at the, I mean, yeah, there was emergencies so far. I can't speak for John, but I don't direct the staff to go to work and do that. That's John's call. I do as I'm told.
I will get out another email and text John, and let him know the directive is staff will report to Arlie. Since the supplies are already available, Don can pick them up today. We can have staff down there this afternoon and they can work. And I will work with the other directors to have people show up as they can the rest of this week. And I guess if we can tentatively get an approval for a change of duty in case we need it for Tuesday to have people finish up with the stands, because that might take a little more time. I'm not sure. If we can get to a good place, we might not need a change of duty, but at least if we have that placeholder, that would be nice. And we'll just make sure people are there every day.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yes.
Don,
about the stands. I mean, you said you had the metal. Is possible that you can start working on and get that metal and stuff? Those stands need to be fixed. I mean,
The concession counters, we have the steel studs. We're changing all that wood out because it tends to rot, and we're going to put in steel studs. We've got all the metal studs cut and the walls framed up, ready to haul down when we tear out the old ones. The plywood is at WBC's for the top. I've got to pick that up, and then waiting for reply back from Pacific Steel on the stainless steel tops to finish it off with. That might be the holdup, but other than that, we're doing all we can right now.
We don't have steel for the tops. We should be able to use plywood.
Yeah, there will be plywood on top. I just wanted to finish it with stainless steel on the top, so it'd be,
So we'll make
durable.
sure they're done regardless, whether it's stainless steel or,
yeah, that'll come eventually if it's not in time.
okay.
In the vents where all the mold is supposed to be now, you can
Yeah.
wash all that stuff out, or how does that? Do you wash those vents out, or how are you gonna take care of the vents?
Yeah, they'll have to be cleaned out.
How does that sound good to you guys?
Say that again. Sorry.
Having them do the dishwashing now with vents out with the mold in it, is that appropriate thing to do, or what's? Or do we have to, what do we do?
Well, I think Brian Crawford is the call on that kind of an item, so I would converse with him to find out what needs to be done, the minimum, and because it's a food and health and safety issue that your sanitarian would need to approve and give you direction on, and whatever, because got to have his blessing. So whatever he demands, that's the work that has to be done for mold removal, for sure. Nori, do you have a?
I was just gonna add that, I just wanted to follow up with what Ronnie was saying about the mold issue. If, I think it takes a lot to get the mold cleaned up. And if that's not gonna be able to be cleaned, that we'll probably have to shut those permanent concessions down this year, because they'll need to be cleaned properly. And there will be a health violation with those stands being used. And so if they're not going to be able to be, the work's not going to be able to be completed in time for the mold issue, then I think we need to make the decision just to close those permanent vendor stands down, because it's going to be a health issue and a liability issue probably.
Go ahead, Carol, then Bing.
Yeah, I was gonna say pressure wash and kills all. I don't know, ask what's his name and see if that works, because that's pretty easy accomplishment, and spray out the vents. Are the vents going into electricity or what? Vents aren't that hard to clean if you get some people down there with some hot water and wash rigs. But I would say that spray it down, kills all, let it dry and put kills all on. That kills mold.
Good old bleach. Go ahead, Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I was just gonna kind of follow up what Carol just said there and get a hold of Brian and bring Brian down there and see what he says about what needs to be done there, and he can, you'll have some direction of what you're gonna have to use or whatever else down there. But I would get a hold of Brian ASAP and let him know and see if we could come down and take a look at them real quick, and so you know what you guys got to use down there. But that stuff that Carol said that to use in them, it does kind of a halfway job, but it doesn't kill it all. But lots of bleach and everything else is going to have to use down there to get it. But it's, I would get a hold of Brian. You'll get some direction from him.
Go ahead, Carol.
I just want to say, if you want me to, call me down when Brian's down there. I'll head up the cleanup of the stands. I'll head it up and get it done according to his specs.
Yeah, just with this all going, the power coming up and stuff, and we appreciate, what's gonna happen and to get it going, to make it look okay, and hopefully to, be all sanitized and ready to go. But for foreseeable, I'd like to see, for the talking for the whole committee and the power for our reservation, just to make sure that, the specs of the work is gonna take place, from even day one after the power, to make it, may be better, make it better, we put in work orders Our first powwow meeting that when we took over the committee, we put in those, 3 years ago. And, they're there, like what we would like to see happen down there. And like that water, that's a big issue down there because it backs up, and there's always something going on with those toilets that they're gonna back up, and we have to call emergency guy in almost every year down there. So we like to see, just for foreseeable, get our work orders, taken care of, from here on out. Well, to make it better for the community in our reservation here. Thanks.
Absolutely. So the other, yeah, we gotta get Brian Crawford there as soon as possible. And of course, the weather's getting nicer. Starting, we're gonna hit 90 by Friday. So there's a good time to be staying, even now. So, but you may also consider, flexing staff hours so that people can work through the weekend, let them, maybe use it later on. Maybe people need to put in some additional hours of staff time. We have a, meticulous protocol at the Blue Bay facility for a fish processing plant. The best, standard as far as cleanliness and for food safety and handling of fish. And so, I don't know if any of those folks, Cindy Benson is meticulous. If I was to count on somebody who knows their job and how to clean, I would go to Cindy. She's one of those people that would be just a workhorse. She's a dynamo, even though she's getting up there like me. And she's something to again, that's reaching out and trying to find other people. But one of the things that I've always, probably ever since I've been involved with the powwow and working on the grounds a long time ago, since I was in the Wildland Rec program, is that one of the issues, and this, absence of use is always a problem. And so it not being used all the time lends itself to this type of issues. So I mean, for the committee, what I would, really ask, because I'm fully supportive of using the grounds as much as possible. I know Shirley said that it should only be used for powwows or this, but well, if you're not using the facility, things just fall apart. And constant use just brings forward constant maintenance. It gets you on top of things. It gets you improving things to the standard that we all know it should be. So I just would encourage, us thinking, the committee thinking, how it could be used more often. And then we would have an easier time to, I believe, to maintain it, improve it, and do all those things that should be done. I think it just, and it provides hopefully income that can be expansive in nature and for the whole facility and how we put it on. So I would just encourage that might be something that you would consider, because you only use something for 2 weeks a year. It's like your camper sits out in the back, and then this happens to it, that happens, starts leaking, and get mice in it, you get this, all those things because you're not using it. And it's not that you're trying to degrade it, it's just that you're not visiting it, you're not there all the time, and you're not trying to use the water system, the sewer system, and the wells, and make sure it's working right. It's to me, that's one of the solutions for me, is being able to possibly use it for things that the powwow committee would think would be appropriate, that would match up, that are additive, that can be supportive financially, that would make it better for its primary purpose. So I'd be very supportive of that. And if there's anything that I can do as an individual council representative, I would certainly try to do that for you. Because I love the Arlie powwow, and always have. So any other, go ahead, Jennifer.
Thank you, Chairman McDonald. I agree with you on that. I think it's a good idea to at least think about other uses. I mean, potentially families could have family reunions out there, or weddings, or different things, and it could be rented out. And that could help generate revenue to help maintain it. I know that venues are sparse here to rent places out like that. people spend $5,000 a day just for the space, and they have to bring in all the chairs and all the stuff. So, you know, there's potentially money to be made renting out the space for other things, other events or whatever. Thank you.
Would council entertain making a motion for change of duty station for tribal employees to assist with the powwow grounds? I would say from this day forward. But I don't, you know, I know you're missing some stuff. You know, you're gonna gather your stuff, Dawn, and I would gather it as quick as possible.
I also wanted to say that, Ron, if you don't mind, I'll come down. I'd like to look at them bleachers and see if they need to be repaired, welded anywhere, and, because they used to break quite a bit. And then that's what happened a few years back, because it was too late to go through and repair them all by bolting them all together. So we just welded them rather than bolt them. So some of the things come apart after years. So just walk through it. I'll come down this weekend and go through it if you're open down there. I'd like to, yeah, I'd like to just go through it, and I got a portable welder. I'll throw it in my truck. Okay.
Go ahead, Len.
We have specialized work such as electrical work that needs to be done.
They all should be checked. Make sure they're
Replaced.
working. And where the concessions of the other vendors, those should be checked, because there is three or four of those outlets that are broke. The covers are off and they're all bent up, and yes, they need to be fixed.
Okay, so the sewer and water issues, those have been dealt with, correct, Lisa? We have,
My understanding is they were when the fire crews were out there, that they addressed those issues, but Don would be able to confirm.
I don't know what issues you're referring to as sewer and water. I mean, I haven't heard since I've been working here that there was issues that needed to be taken care of.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Thank you, Chairman. That's all on that new sewer line now, right? That flows out, goes to that line through the power grounds too, except for the old showers, right? Yeah, that still had a septic unit. That, but the new, I mean, the power grounds itself is on that sewer line. It's not?
Yeah, I'm on that Hourly Water Sewer Committee, and I think that they said the only one there is the Powell grounds and one of those houses right there that is not on that Arley sewer that leads out to the new facility down there. So I don't think the Powell grounds is on there. I don't know where it goes.
I thought they added that in because I know the first house that was on that line wasn't on it, but I thought they were doing it through the power grounds. I don't know. Might ask that.
I think we have a meeting tonight on there, so I can check with them for sure. to make
Okay.
sure.
So I guess, Don, you'll check the water system to make sure it's all running immediately. And then I guess if there's any backup water systems or sewer systems that are backing up, you'd identify that immediately. That's the other critical sanitation issue. So potable water, sanitation, cleanliness for food concessions, safety on the bleachers. So those are the key 4 elements that need to be dealt with as soon as possible. Go ahead, Bing.
Mr. Chair, yeah, Lisa, maybe we ought to have some kind of, somebody to contact, be able to contact if something, some issues like that do come up if water quits or gets plugged up like they did 2 to 3 years ago. We had to call Mr. What was that guy's name? O'Neill, and he come in and he dug that up and he cleaned that out. And he said, there was needs to be some filters put in that line. He said that would stop a lot of that sand getting in down there to get those all plugged up, you know, and backed up where water can't flow in them. But he said that he could do that, he said, but we never, after that follow, we never had nothing done on it. So, but he did open that line up after he dug it up and clean those filters out in there. But he said they need some more filters above the line so that comes down and stop a lot of that sand going down into the bathrooms and whatnot. He said that's probably what's wrong with the old bathroom over there too, is just too much sand going in those old bathrooms over there, and it plugs them all up. So no water in there or anything after a while. So, but we maybe they ought to have somebody that they can contact if somebody, if that does happen.
I guess I forgot to mention the 5th one, that'd be the electrical outlets, the ground fault interrupters and all the campsites, missing covers. So those are easy to fix. Not going to advocate you don't have an electrician, but that's something that I usually do myself. But yeah, you need to check all those as Ronnie mentioned. That'd be a safety item. So Sammy Safety says safety first.
And then we should know by the end of the day if those 4 things are able to be.
Yeah, because a lot of those things you could just get from True Value if you need to reswitch some of those.
Yeah.
Turn it on, run it. Nori?
I was just gonna add that in the bathrooms, there's several of the toilets that don't work. And I don't know what type of issue that is, but they don't work. And several of the toilets, the water just leaks. And then also the sinks, the piping underneath leaks too. Water comes out of those pipes and the sinks in the bathroom. And I believe all shower heads would probably have to be replaced. And I don't know, and some of them are missing shower heads, so I don't know if somebody steals the shower heads or what the deal is with that, but for sure, I know the shower heads need to be replaced because some of them are plugged up, and then some of the showers didn't even have shower heads. And then we bought some in the past, but they were just the cheap ones, so they probably didn't last too long. Okay, thank you.
Was making a motion to approve a change of duty station for tribal employees with supervisor's approval to assist with the ground maintenance and improvements at the Arley powwow. Second by Jennifer. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick issue or a quick request here from a family. As many of you guys know that tribal member James Fisher lost his son here a few days back. They're having services now at the Ronan Senior Citizen Center, and so they were asking if we could donate paper products for their feasts.
Is that kind of normal?
We've done it in the past, yeah.
Is he a first descendant or a non-member? Because we could do the non-member 500, because we looked into it to try and see if we could do the non-member burial. So we could still do the non-member burial for him, like we did for James Farmer.
Okay,
And then
yeah,
we-
let me reach out to James again and see if you'd prefer that, to do that rather than the paper products.
Then they'd be able to go pick what they wanted instead of what we just give them.
Okay,
And then it would be, it would go to the mortuary though.
yeah, okay. I'll do that. I'll reach out to him again.
Did he get adopted by James though?
Yeah, I don't,
Still closely associated with tribal, right?
Yeah, because
Is
if
that
he,
what the policy says?
if he's adopted and he's the child, he would be able to get 600 non-member burial fund. But if he's not adopted, we could give him the non-member that you guys approved for the 500.
With that, I think we'll break for lunch. We moved legal to the afternoon. So they'll be on in the afternoon. We'll take our break. I know Jimmy's got to run south. So,
all right, good discussion.
thank you all.